Hello, everyone, and once again, a very warm welcome to Chinet, the agentic commerce podcast exploring how brands are building in an AI world. Most fashion brands optimize for speed. Fast fashion works because clothes are designed to fail within a year, forcing you to buy more. It's a system built on planned obsolescence. Our guest today is actually building the exact opposite. He creates shirts designed to last for years. They use organic fabrics that hold their shape wash after wash. I'm Rachit Magan, and today we're going to talk to Karthik Koppula. He's the founder of Islands of Loom. So let's invite, hello Karthik, a very warm welcome to China.
Hi Rajit, thanks for having me over.
It's my pleasure. So please, if you could give a short introduction of yourself and of Islands of Loom for our listeners.
So I'm Karthik, like you said, introduced. So I have spent over a decade building and scaling supply chains of different volumes, like say even from the smallest one to the most complex one. And after 10 years, I'm like, this is not connecting with me anymore. Probably I want to slow down and I want to build something more meaningful, right? And at the same time, yes, definitely make money and create an impact. So that was the objective, and that's how we ended up in Islands. So at Islands of Loom, we are building, like you said, a sustainable, really comfortable clothing brand,
Mm-hmm.
which we say that we are India's first mindful menswear brand, where we say that we are not compromising on quality, we are not compromising on values, we are not compromising on what we are offering to the customer, and definitely it leaves a positive impact on the planet at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I think brands in general, after because of fast fashion, there's been so much, there's been so much impact. There's so much pollution, and we don't. A lot of people don't think twice before picking up new clothes every. Like I think it's much more than just the cost of the goods, right? It's also what is the impact of what you're buying, and somehow it's now that people have started to understand and learn that okay, whatever you buy has an impact, and it's not just that plastic bag in which the thing comes in, right? It's the thing itself as well.
Yes.
It's important. Let's
And
talk a bit. Right,
it's
yes,
not
please.
specific only to the pollution. Like say any cheaper fabric that you take or any
Hmm.
cheaper garment that you take today,
Right.
right? It's largely polyester based, which
Hmm.
would mean it releases microplastic with every use. And when you are sweating,
Right.
it releases microplastic, which directly gets into your body.
Yes.
The co How is the cost brought down is because of usage of cheap dyes. These dyes are largely carcinogenic. They're not very skin friendly. So all of this put together. So yes, first you take care of yourself and then the planet. So the entire fast fashion, I think we are doing the other way around. Like we are not doing neither, I would say.
We're doing neither. Right, but we'll get to that. I think that's a very interesting topic to dive down. Before that, I would like for our listeners to know a bit of your story as well. Like you've worked on I would say, with the dream brands of any Indian professional, right? You've worked with Amazon, you've worked with Zomato, you've optimized for efficiency, you've optimized for speed and logistics, and then as you said, you decided to slow down. What what were the thoughts then? What made you say that okay, enough of this, and I need to slow down in life.
So it's like I always had a conscious lifestyle, I would say. It's like I'm not a sustainability hero earlier, but I was always conscious in terms of what do I consume, what is my lifestyle. Like say simple practices like probably recycling at home, composting at home and all of that. That's who I am in general.
Right.
What I was so like every I think that moment happens to everyone, right? When you realize, hey, what you believe and or what you want and what you're doing are not matching. So that probably happened while I was working in Zomato when there was a big problem statement where it was a decision to make use single-use plastic or not use single-use plastic. And
Right.
the entire decision making process, like in the end, we all of us ended up in not using that single-use plastic, which
Right.
left a huge impact. Like say about 2000 tons of plastic was saved by not using it,
Wow.
right? So it's like So that was what triggered, like say, if an individual or if a team can think of it and make such decisions, what if the entire organization believes in this, right? And at the same time, there are also how would I say, people think that anything sustainable is not cheap or anything sustainable is not profitable, right? It's
Right.
more of an NGO angle. So how do you counter these three thought process and build a sustainable and profitable business?
Hmm. So it was more like a challenge that you took for yourself that okay, I like sustainability myself and can we build something which is profitable and the business itself should also be sustainable and
Yes.
not just sell sustainable goods. That's very interesting. And when you were actually working with Amazon, I'm sure you were trying to optimize their logistics. You were trying to optimize their mid-mile logistics. I'm sure there must be some KPIs, right, and some metrics which you were responsible for. So, what were those metrics, and do they change when you move to sourcing slowly and sustainably organic fabrics, small batches? Like how do those two metrics differ in something like an Amazon and something like Islands of Loom?
Also, these are two different worlds that we are trying to compare, right? Like say in
Right,
Amazon, probably like I was had like the scale was so huge that I think the fleet size that I was handling, the number of vehicles that I was handling, is still higher than my monthly traffic that I get, right? So there it's all about how do you reach on time, how do you reduce your cost, like one paise reduction per shipment actually brings down the cost by lakhs of rupees, right? That's the
right,
scale that we are talking about in Amazon.
correct,
And it's all about speed, customer delight, and cost, right?
right,
However, here it's the other way around. Firstly, building a consumer brand has a altogether different metrics. How happy your customer is, how many customers you
hmm,
are able to reach them, right?
right,
And uh, so it's about how happy your customer is, how many customers does your customer get you, right? Because at
right,
the end of the day, it's a very close knit customer base
absolutely,
that we are building,
absolutely,
and how frequently the customer comes back to you,
hmm,
and what is the end value addition that you are doing to the entire supply chain in terms of what is the value addition that you are giving to the supplier, what is the value addition that you are giving to the garment maker, because that's a craft that we don't want to lose and don't want to machinize
right,
and industrialize, right? So
correct.
value addition at all the three metrics is what we are looking at holistically rather
Hmm.
than end to end. It's only an operational metrics that I was tracking in the previous.
Earlier, right, right, correct. Do around the product rather than the product, right? But and you were speaking about that, but this homogenization of products in the fashion space, does it create an opening for your brand in reality, or do you think that it's just that because I never realized this differentiation, like this similarity before
Mhm.
I spoke to you the other day, right? And that's when I realized that okay, let's look at it from that angle. But do you think customers do look at it from those angles and they are they care about differentiation or they just care about the brand now?
Yeah, definitely. Like customer cares about differentiation, right? Like say, take a service for example, right? Say
Right,
a coffee shop. You would always have a favorite coffee shop where you don't go because of the taste of the coffee, but it's because how the people around you speak or how the person taking the order talks to you, and how do you enjoy the overall process, right? And that's absolutely the same even with respect to your favorite clothing brand as well, right? Like say,
hmm,
probably you will go back to the same brand again and again because you know for a fact that yes, I'll get same quality of product, and yes, I know that any issue, like say, be it, and it's more specific to your favorite D2C brand, because for D2C brand these are invisible folks, but you go back to the same brand because you know that any issue is there, they are the first ones to easily
right,
resolve that and probably give me an exchange or a return or whatever it could be, or somebody is there to listen to me. But whereas in the bigger brands and the more legacy oriented brands, like you said, right, there's no one to know that, and that reflects
hmm,
right from the branding, the way the store is put up, the way the salesperson greets you when you walk into the store, right? And that happens a lot with us as well, right? When we keep doing the customer calls, we frequently get that this thing said, "Hey, I'm really surprised that a brand is calling me. This never happened before," and that actually
Right.
drives more
Yes.
sales or that drives more customer satisfaction, I would say. And
Right.
it's a community at the end that we are building.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's the other day I was one of one of a very small D2C brand which I had picked up. Someone had gifted me a T-shirt, and and then I was messaging them on WhatsApp, and surprisingly, on their support channel, the founder replied, and and I was like, wow, that's the kind of support that creates a human touch, and it's a very the other day I was reading about this book from Simon Sinek, which is Start with Why, right? That's a very interesting book, which says that people don't buy what you do; they actually buy why you do it, right?
Yes.
And then that's true. It's absolutely true in the fashion case as well. And yeah, very very interesting. About a bit about your business model, right? You say that your products are designed to stay, right? And they're while fast fashion says that fast fashion is designed to last for maximum a few months. Honestly, I see that the same with electronics as well. Although that's not the part of the discussion, but we have an old refrigerator, which is like there's this company called White Westinghouse or something. I'm forgetting the name. This is like a 20, 30-year-old company. That refrigerator is still in our house and it works perfectly fine, right?
Yes.
And all the new ones we've changed at least every 4 to 5 years. You have to change the refrigerator. I think that's the same with fashion as well. But tell me, I do you think it's a how do you, as you said, that it's a challenge to build a sustainable business around that, right? Where if someone's buying your product, they don't have to buy again. How do you do that? Like, how do you actually build a sustainable brand around that?
See, building a sustainable brand, people from the outset think that it's anti-capitalist, where you end
Right,
up saying that don't buy more or say
right.
buy less. But it's all about buy good, right?
Hmm.
Buy products that are good, buy products that add value, right? Like say, why is fast fashion cheap? Fast fashion is cheap because they don't the kind of materials that are being used. Second one is how it's made, right?
Right,
So if you're getting a shirt for say 800 or 700, it probably after adding all the marketing expenses of the brand and everything, how much is actually the maker of the shirt getting?
right.
So that's the thought process behind a fast fashion brand, right? Whereas what we are building is definitely yes. Our like if a person is buying 20 shirts in a year from a fast fashion brand, our customer is more aware, right? And they are more clear that hey, I don't want that kind of stuff. I want quality stuff. Feels good right from the day one that I wear. And they know that every now and then they can go back to the same shirt and feel more comfortable. And at the end of the day, they even know that they are adding value to the overall ecosystem. And
Right.
the good thing about is these customers are growing in nature. Like all of us are
Hmm.
becoming more conscious. See, it need not be conscious only with respect to the planet. It could be conscious with respect to all of us. Like right now, you got so many people running marathons, half marathons, hydrogs, or all of this, and it's all because everybody's becoming more aware what we have been doing to our bodies, right? And the same thing,
Right.
the same tide of change is coming even in the clothing as well, where people would want to say, "Hey, I want the same kind of clothing that I was, or probably my fathers or their fathers were wearing it." Where
Hmm.
it talks about quality, it talks about
Yes.
comfort.
Right.
So because the customer base is growing and because it's an as more and more brands come in, right? It's not actually a competition between the brands that is building up, but it's like the ecosystem of this space is growing, and that's how our customer base and the revenues are also growing.
Right. Yeah, I think that's very true. I think this is one space where it's actually beneficial for a brand like yours to have more brand like yours,
Yes.
because right now we're at a awareness sort of a stage, right, where a lot of people still need to understand that what is sustainable clothing, or what does right now, like in H&M will have this rack of organic cotton, and it's just a rack, and no one's picking up no one's understanding what does it mean, right? And no one's understanding whether it is really organic. What is organic cotton? What does it mean that you're wearing polyester clothing? And these things are now slowly changing, and you
Yes.
need more people in the industry who are actually spreading the word, and then
Yes.
then the industry becomes more successful. Absolutely. And you talk a lot about physical retail, right? And the physical retail becomes a differentiation eventually. So you say that it becomes a primary brand experience. So for Islands of Loom, for example, if someone experiences Islands of Loom only through the website, do they get the same brand experience, or do you think that there's something missing?
Like definitely they'll get the same brand experience because it's the same kind of storytelling, or it's the same kind
Right.
of the way the facts are put out in the offline versus how the facts are put out in the online. That's
Correct.
there. But there's one big problem that like we, right? Because it's all about fabric. We are,
Right.
or it's very difficult both for the brand as well as for the customer to understand what kind of fabric is it.
Hmm.
Like you can still say that okay, our color variation is very minimal, what you see on the website versus what you get on the product. But how do we tell that story of when you wear the shirt, you feel comfortable or you feel warm,
Correct.
or, right? So
Yes.
that is a missing piece still.
Hmm. Right. That
So
can only
yeah, that's the
happen
reason why we
with
have
physical.
taken a slightly omni-channel model where we keep doing these curated pop-ups where
Hmm.
customers probably come and touch and feel the fabric. They either pick it
Right.
up right then itself or they go back and place an order. And that's and the customer that's acquired through this channel has a much higher AOV and LTV
Hmm.
than the traditional online customers.
Right. True. Do you think, or let's first for our listeners, what are your next pop-ups? Where are your next pop-ups coming?
We are popping up in Bombay, that's in April. Probably we
Oh,
will
that's
see a couple
lovely.
of them before that in Hyderabad and Bangalore.
Right, right, right. Oh, amazing, amazing. Yeah, Bombay is a good market for this.
Yes,
People understand a lot more. People are more, you know, more sensible about these things.
yes.
And yeah, I love the city in general. I've been most of my life I've spent in Delhi, and but my wife is from Bombay, and there's a thing that people from Delhi are very anti-Bombay, and Bombay are anti-Delhi, and they like. But I'm the opposite. I've spent most of my life in Delhi, but I love Bombay.
I don't think anybody should be having a reason to hate Bombay.
Yeah.
Bombay is that one city where everything is warm, right from the
Uh,
climate to people.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I think traffic is the only problem these days, but that's everywhere, right? That's you can't help it. I
Yes.
think, yeah, interesting. So when someone, let's talk a bit about the digital experience in general, right? So what do you think? So when customers actually visit any brand's website, and this is for our new founders who are starting up, building their first website, and trying things out. For someone building a website for customers for a D2C website, what do you think is the most important thing for them?
See, it's all about in an offline, right? Probably a person walks in, you'll have some 2 to 3 minutes of their time to convince them or to listen to you, right?
Right.
Whereas in online, it's only the first 12, 13 seconds that matters the most, right? It's either what you tell about the product or what you tell about the brand. It's
Hmm.
all that you got is 12 to 13 seconds. So, and that really pops up even in the data that we are looking at, right? So when we
Hmm.
look at the bounce rate or the average session durations, right? So if I cut a line and demarcate the data, somebody who's spending 15 seconds, their average session time is very low. And
Hmm.
once somebody crosses that 15 seconds, that means somebody has read whatever they are seeing, and there's certain kind of trust that's built in, there's certain kind of storytelling that they have connected. That's
Right.
when the entire average, for the rest of the above 15 seconds, the average session duration is 1.5 minutes.
Hmm.
Even
Right.
in spite, even if they buy or not buy, because they have read something that they want to read, or what they trust something that they have seen.
Right.
It could be customer testimonials, or it could be the brand story, like say a founder popping up and telling what is the story, or it could be easy visuals.
Right.
It's easy to digest. Right?
Correct.
I think those are the ones that keep them hold. hold them for 15, 20 seconds. Then I think that's when you start looking at the conversions.
Hmm. Right. So first try to grab, so for a D2C founder, first you have to try to grab the your visitor's attention in 15 20 seconds, right?
Yes,
That's similar to what people have to do on Reels these days. Like you have to,
right.
like, your first 3 second hook
Three
is
seconds.
the most important, they say. And if you do that only, then yeah, I think that's very important. And do you think AI in general can help with this and can help with selling products today?
See, AI are to, like, say, for me, or based on whatever our experience is, AI you should use for the non-creative stuff, for
Hmm.
all the efficiencies or analysis, or how do we make it more structured, right? It's about
Right.
organizing stuff is what AI should do, but not on the creative side. Like, say, let's say on the creative side, the images, generating of the images, or
Right.
the content being written completely by AI, right?
Hmm.
So these are, I think that's where you should have a demarcation line between what you should use AI for and what you should not use AI for.
Right. A lot of people have been now doing catalog pictures using AI, right? I've been seeing a lot of those. What are your thoughts on those? Do you think that's a good thing to do, or like?
See, from a brand's perspective, that's a great thing to do because
Hmm.
it brings down our cost of production, or like say per
Right.
the per cost that we spend on a product photo shoot, it
Right.
gets down drastically. But I feel we are still not there yet in terms of do moving 100% to an AI, at least
Hmm.
because, like, say, for brands like us, it is the texture, the detail of
Hmm.
the product that has to show
Correct.
up. And AI
Right.
is really bad in throwing out the detail,
Hmm.
right? It's a really on the wide look shots, probably it looks really beautiful. But when you
Right.
try to understand what the fabric is all about, what the weight of the fabric is, or any of those details, right? I don't think AI is there yet. And I
Hmm.
don't even think
It's a long way to go
yeah,
for
it's
that.
still a long way to go.
I think it's working well for brands who are selling, you know, not generic products, but like something like glasses, or something like a watch, or something which you have to more look in a holistic way rather than look at the details and zoom in, and it's working for those brands, I think.
Yes, probably it could even work for, say, brands who are into streetwear because it's all about
Yes,
the
right.
design, right? And design,
Design,
anyways,
yes.
they sketch the design. The designers or even AI can sketch the design, and then it's
Right.
easy to replicate that on a shirt. Nobody
Correct.
really worries about the fabric quality in
Hmm.
a streetwear, or
Right.
at least the ones who are worried are the ones, the bigger brands that we are talking about these days in streetwear. But for the majority of them, it's a design that's primarily the selling point.
The selling point. Yes, 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 absolutely. And you've worked in a lot of spaces, right? Like conventional e-com with Amazon, and then your Zomato, then now your own D2C brand. What do you think is the biggest problem today in e-com, like as a founder?
As a founder, interesting question. I think we touched upon that briefly. It's about how do I tell the same how do I give the same offline experience to the customer online and
Right.
tell
Yes.
them of about my product in detail, or uh, see, I'll tell you a simple stat which
Hmm.
we had. So somebody walks into our store, roughly about 55% of them buy a shirt. Somebody who wears a shirt, roughly
Hmm.
about 85% of them buy the product. So with
Okay.
every
Right.
experience
Oh, as in
point,
they enter the trial room, and if they wear it, then 80% will actually end up buying
80
it.
85%
Got
would
it.
definitely buy the product.
Right.
But if I'm looking at the website, right, the numbers are single digit probably.
Right. Yes, of
So
course.
that's because the customer is not able to trust the product. The customer
Hmm.
doesn't infer everything about the product.
Right.
Maybe, yes, you will be able to sell the story better online, but how will you sell the product better online? So that's
Right.
the biggest problem as of today.
Correct. That's yeah. So you can it's still you can still not give the same experience as a physical store, and
Yes.
that you would like to give, and that's I think that's, you say, is the biggest problem. What about acquiring customers today, right? Like I think it's changed a lot in the last few years, right? Like now people trust founders more than the brand, and there's a lot of changing. What are your thoughts on that? Like how have you? For me, it's been hard. Honestly, it's been very hard to actually come up, show my face, and talk to people. It has been uh, a lot of telling myself that okay, it's okay, you can come to the camera, like facing my own fears, right? What has it been for you?
So for me, it's the other way around. I would say I'm more comfortable in this kind of setup. I'm more comfortable in public speaking.
Right.
More comfortable, like say, even in this setup where I speak to say 1,000 members or take a conference of 1,000 members. But I am absolutely dead the moment I'm seeing my face on in front of the camera and trying to shoot a reel, right? So that's been a really hard thing. But at the same time, we have seen that when I speak to the reels where I speak, where I
Right.
explain, or where I tell brand story, or even about the product, right? Those are the highest grossing reels because that's the trust, like you said, that
Yes,
people would rely on.
exactly. What do you think will be the first thing you would want to fix or automate using AI?
Fix or automate, definitely the non-value addition activities where probably every week I would get a automated report in terms of, hey Karthik, this is how your past week was. Like so many
Right.
number of users walked in and these are the stuff that was bought so much. These are the stuff where it was not bought. Like I said, we do a lot of stuff in terms of understanding what is the customer journey, where is the customer journey breaking, where is the customer spending
Mhm.
most time on, what, where does the website lag and all of that. So it's like sitting for hours and watching those videos and trying to get that insights and probably work on the CRO. But
Right.
that's where I want AI, where
Mhm.
all of this is automated and given to me.
Right. Right.
Those are the kind of efficiencies that we are
Correct.
looking forward to leverage using AI.
Leveraging, yeah. I think Shopify is working on something like that, right? I was reading, I think it's still in beta, but I was reading about this thing called SimGym where they're saying that they can send like thousands of AI shoppers and they'll figure
Yes,
out what's your bugs
yes,
and
yes.
all.
They just launched it.
Right.
Still,
Is it available? Have you tried it or no? It's not
no,
yet
I've not
available.
tried it. It just launched
Right.
like last December towards the end.
Yes,
They have
just a
launched
few
it.
weeks back.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes,
I think it's not even available for most of the stores. I think that there's just some stores for which they've enabled it.
right.
But sounds interesting. Like I would love to see that
Yes,
happen and
yes,
what results they it actually give.
yes,
The things are changing so fast.
yes. So that's there, and even Microsoft Clarity, right? It
Hmm.
actually gives you clarity where it sums up a customer's journey, which was not
Right.
available earlier. They've just came up with that recently.
That's interesting. I did not know that. And what does that do exactly?
So again, the same. So it doesn't actually summarize or tell these are the exact pain points, but it
Hmm.
describes each customer's journey. Like the customer came from this particular landing page. Like you have the
Amazing.
screen recording. Like if it's a 5 minutes or 8 minutes recording, you need not go through that entirely. But there's a summary of that saying that hey, this is what the customer has made. He spent the time. The so and so customer spent so much of time at this particular section.
Got
But
it.
it's
Got it.
not in a direct data consumable format. It's more like a read through, and probably it's up to you how do you break it down and analyze.
Hmm. Right. That's true. And you've managed so many you've managed supply chains from something like, if I'm not wrong, you were with Hyperpure, right? And and cold supply chain operations. That's a very B2B, very enterprise heavy sort of a thing. What do you think was a learning from there which you apply today in your own company?
So specifically Hyperpure, right? Hyperpure is all about food, right? How the
Yes.
food was getting delivered to the restaurants, or say the raw materials were delivering to the restaurants, as well as the other interesting part is I worked on the Blinkit cold supply chain, where the entire frozen supply chain had helped in terms of ideation and implementation.
Right.
So because these are food, your standard or say the cost of going wrong is really high. Probably in terms of the
Hmm.
value of the goods, it's not very high, but because
Right.
it's a health concern that comes in,
Right.
health hazard, right? Or say, particularly with the cold chain, if a particular product is supposed to be delivered in 0 to 4, the moment it reaches 4.5, that product actually starts. deteriorating faster.
Right.
And you which impact you won't know as on that time of delivery, but once the cooking starts, that's when you'll get to know. So the
Correct.
the room for error is very less, and you have to be really careful in terms of how you're delivering and how do you track that entire journey,
Correct.
right? Because how do you measure that? Like say, if you're measuring a product temperature, the way you measure versus I measure, it could come in as a different reading. So how do you standardize all of that? And these are the two learnings that we have actually taken back to Islands of Loom and on the same way. How do I ensure that each shirt is crafted with the same experience? Like say, when you're buying or when you're getting a shirt stitched from your tailor, what is that primary thing that you want? You want to feel like, I know that once I wear it, it's very comfortable, it fits me perfectly. So how do I ensure that I give the same kind of experience to them?
Right.
Right? And how do we ensure that the same quality or the same fit is delivered to them every single time? So these are the things that we are working on currently, and we have implemented to a good reason. And for that reason, probably I'll say we have got our return rates are 3%.
Oh wow, that's very low.
Yes. So that's because we ensure that we are telling the same brand story, we are telling the same
Hmm.
product story, we are probably giving the customer what they are expecting.
Right. Right. That's true. And do you use some technology to like reduce return rates? Like I've been seeing a lot of people, with like COD orders, they use a lot of tech to confirmation or and all of those things. Do you do that, or is it like a
So
manual
we use
process?
tools like say we rely on so we use goquick as our checkout partner
Right.
and delivery as our primary logistics partner, and both of
Correct.
them have good information about every user. So they
Hmm.
for every order they give us a flag saying that if it is a high risk, low risk. And what we have seen on 98% of the cases, it actually holds up well.
Wow.
That's the power of data, I would say.
Right. Imagine the amount of data they have on us, right? They know everywhere. If they can predict that with 98%
Yes.
accuracy, that's
Like
amazing, but
go
also
quick,
scary.
right? Go quick passes you the brilliant data saying that how many times the customer has ordered on your website, how many times the customer has ordered in the Go Quick universe.
Right. Correct. And then they tell you that okay, how important,
Yes.
how risky the customer is.
Yes.
That's true. And what would be like when you move to to your, what did you expect and what was the reality? Like that is for people. I'll tell you the context also. A lot of our listeners are maybe in professional positions like you were, leading supply chains and directors here and there. And a lot of people are now thinking that okay, let's get into the entrepreneurship wagon. As as someone sitting outside and thinking that let's start working, let's become a founder. Unfortunately, I feel that a lot of shows and a lot of it's been glorified, right? The
Glorified.
entrepreneur
Right.
journey has been glorified. What do you think? Like how did it when you started, before you started, what did you think? And in reality, what was there?
So, luckily, there was not a major mismatch in terms of my expectations
Hmm.
versus reality because this is the second time entrepreneurship that I'm trying out. First time
Right.
we tried out, we failed, and then we went back to regular jobs. And again, it took me certain time to again get back
So
to
you
entrepreneurship.
knew what
You
to
knew, I
expect.
kind of knew what
Right.
was expecting, but again, for somebody who's planning to quit, right? First of all,
Hmm.
that entire decision making or leap of faith, right? In terms of
Hmm.
jumping and say, it all looks fine for the first 3 months till you have your savings account or your salary accounts are
Right.
sufficiently funded. So
Right.
after the third month, after your full and final settlement done, and then the next month on the first, that's when it hits you, saying that hey, you don't have a job. And
Right.
as a famous meme says, right, like I was earlier working from 9 to 6 for somebody on
Hmm.
salary. Right now, I'm
Hmm.
working 9 to 9
Right.
with
And that's very that depressingly low, honestly. Yeah. And great. Yeah, Karthik, that's been amazing. You've been amazing. I have one last question. So for D2C founders, building in this space, what would be your one advice be? for success?
I can't say that for success as such, but probably one thing is try faster and fail faster and learn from that faster, right?
Hmm.
Else, if we are looking at perfection or if we are looking at optimizing somewhere, right? You'll lose out on opportunity. And for us,
Hmm.
it's a time that gets, that's the most important thing. Like say, I have made that mistake in
Right.
terms of learning website development. Like I'm not a non-tech guy. Learning website development, creating that website and scrapping that in 3 months.
Right.
Though I have a good learnings from that, and I know for a fact that how do I speak to the developer and get the things done right now.
Right.
But probably those 3 months I could have used somewhere else, and
Absolutely.
the overall the progress the brand would have made in those 3 months would have been significantly higher than the
Yes.
personal progress that I thought I made.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. That's true for any field, not just D2C or not just e-com.
Right.
If you're taking too much time to fail, then there's something wrong.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Once again, it's been very insightful, and for all our listeners, that was Karthik. He's the founder of Islands of Loom. Once again, Karthik, thank you for doing this for us. Have a
Thank you so
wonderful
much, Rajit. Thanks,
day
thanks
ahead.
for having me over. Bye.
Goodbye.